So terms continued, okay? So the next one is additive or layer based, okay? It uses the processes of adding layers, okay? It's the one we keep talking about. It contrast processes, some of them use the process that remove, okay? Some use both, okay? No matter what machine, what additive manufacturing machine, every machine uses layers. Whether it takes off layers or adds layers, it views it in layers. Now, nobody is saying that the layer method is going to be the future. Nobody knows what the future is going to hold. There are people that believe that as new processes, new concepts all come out, that it may change, okay? They like to use the term manufacturing because the connotation, okay? Manufacturing has a much better connotation than fabrication does. Fabrication, because you could call it additive fabrication. There's just certain parts in the world that don't like the term fabrication, and there are other parts of the world that you fabricate with sheet metal, and that is the only material that you fabricate with. And so the idea of saying that it's additive fabrication and then you don't use sheet metal really confuses people in that area. So that's part of the reason why they use the term additive manufacturing. Okay, so one of the originals, the one that we originally know, stereolithography or 3D printing. Okay, they both originated describing specific machines. Okay, just like how IBM started out as the International Business Machine. They have expanded and make other processes, okay? Stereolithography was created by the US company called 3D Systems, okay? 3D printing was created by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Both terms have really took hold, okay? Because they both use the 2D print system, whether it's lithography or printing, that people understand, okay? And then gave them a third dimension, okay? And so they took basic practices that everybody already understood and then just added a Z. And so that's part of the reason why people like these. 3D printing is the most common term, and will be used for additive manufacturing. Majority of the time, that's what 3D printing is. Like I said, I use other ones. Stereolithography, like I said earlier, created the STL file type. The next one is you have rapid prototyping. So prototyping before the rapid prototyping machine was a very complex, tedious, and expensive. Such as this Nike shoe, or I'm assuming it's a Nike. It looks like a Nike, maybe Adidas. But to make that was very tedious and could get expensive. Maybe not so much with shoes, but if you start talking about automobiles, yeah, that they start getting expensive when you start prototyping them. Okay. The reason why the name took off is that when the machine started, is that it was initially used during the prototyping phase. Okay. And that they loved these machines because it sped up the creation and the replication of parts during the prototype process. And that if you continue to use the terminology of a rapid prototyping machine, it may not be correct because it may not be done in the prototyping process. Now, the fact that we work a lot with design and the design aspects of it, yes, prototyping is very prototyping is a common term, and actually a lot of cases would be correct, but not necessarily within anywhere in other places within the process. So some of the benefits, okay? So they talk about how additive manufacturing has benefits. They are calling it a disruptive technology. There are people that are saying that it may be the future of manufacturing. Me personally, I foresee it being a big chunk. But it is completely different. I don't foresee it replacing all forms of manufacturing. They are saying it has revolutionized manufacturing, and possibly we're in a new or the third industrial revolution. And that's big, okay? As these machines come down in price and the more and more we can build it, that is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. It's changing how we design objects. And when I read that and I think about it, I actually think of this guy and this part. So do you remember when we went to B&J Specialty and they were talking about their 3D processes? Well, what it was is that he was talking about this part and about how there was no way they could manufacture that part in traditional manufacturing processes. It's just, it couldn't be done. But because of 3D printing metal, they can begin to design parts that are easier, that can actually be made, and that the processes that they use within it and the use for it changed. Because, and it's these holes and how those holes, the path that they go through within the part, there was no way they can make it, and so the design has changed it. Okay, it's changing how businesses are being set up. If you're able to 3D print stuff, maybe you're not building a machine shop along the way, and so it's just business, changing how businesses are being ran and how they're being set up, and it's kind of an exciting time. Didn't change the picture, but we'll go with it. So some of the reasons why additive manufacturing is so beneficial is because it's rapid. It's rapid. Rapid may not be a good always a term that we always need to use with prototyping, but it is speeding up manufacturing itself. So it's actually taking less time to make parts, okay? Because thinking about the last part, the one the guy was holding, it may take less time to make that because you have one process the entire time, and that is the print process. Where if you could and you would make that, you would have to mill out material, you would have to drill out material, and so then you would have to go through the finishing instead of just printing it along the way. And so the amount of time it takes to make the individual part has been sped up. Other things is that it speeds up the process time from idea to final product, and that you're able to find holes and problems along the way quicker to go back and modify it along the way. And so it actually makes a product, an idea, get out to the consumer quicker. Everything is being done via the computer, and so it's a much more uninterrupted process along the way, and so you're able to find the dilemmas along the way quicker, get them changed, and get it back. It's reducing manufacturing time and reducing steps. So like I said, you're getting away from having to bore and ream and mill different types of machines because you're just printing them, and so you have that runtime. And that's it, guys. Thanks.